Right, now that bases the conversation for the next 30 minutes. Of course, with me here, I have MC Baridi. He is a youth ambassador. And seated closer to my far left, Melinda Kiro, who is a Form 4 student. Thank you guys for being here today morning. Melinda, let me start with you. Why do you think students are banning schools?
Oh, I think students are banning schools just because of exams. You know, they hear from others who are before them that exams, they're hard. When, okay, like, let's say you are a day scholar, so you're like at home, then people, so you always go at home in the evening, then people are telling you, Melinda, huwezi kuwa serious, unajua hizi exams ni ngumu. So when people tell you that, or you're like, wow, so they are hard. And then you're like, let's say, below average student. And when you read, some things don't enter. So when you're seated, and then a teacher tells you, she gives you only, or he or she gives you 20%, you're supposed to look for the 80%. So when you go and sit for, when you think of those exams, the way they will come, you lose hope. And then now you opt to ban a school, and not just any part of the school, it's either the dormitory or the classes. Because now, if you ban the dormitory when you guys sleep, and then if you ban the classes, now where you guys read.
Yeah.
So it was
a lot of
strategy.
It is exam anxiety.
Exam anxiety, mainly.
Mainly.
Yeah.
Baridi, what do you think? What else could you add to Melinda's great point?
That's a very good point, but also what I think, in fact, the school that they banned was my school, Uhuru Boys. And I think parents and teachers, these students, no one want to understand them also. They need a lot of counseling. They have a lot of problems that they're going through when maybe they're in school, a depression. So they feel like no one wants to come down and talk to them. When they go back home, parents are too harsh to them. Teachers are too harsh to them. So it's high time also that our parents and the teachers need to come down and be friendly, so that you can identify. Because when I was in Uhuru School in 2015, we knew that they are going to ban the school, and they banned the school. But the teachers knew because the friendly the teacher have with the student. A student will tell you, mwalimu, tunataka kuchoma shule because of inai. So when you hear that, there is a way that you can come and know how can you go about it. So also we need to get the parents to come down and talk to their kids, because they don't have time for them. They leave in the morning, come in the evening. You don't know what are going through here. You only see the parents when they go to supermarket, buy this, don't buy this, I don't have money. Go to school, biology, chemistry, go to class, we need you to pass. It's all about prison in school. So we need it's a high time also. We don't need just to say, they are doing this, let's also calm down and let's understand what is the problem. Mvua ilianza kutupiga wapi? And sit down with this student and understand and do some counseling, because they have a lot of emotional wounds that disturbing them. Parent anakuita wewe ni umbwa sana. Ulikuja ulipata D. Next time ukurudi shule sita kununulia something. When you go back to school, teacher the same. So they feel like they're losing hope. But now that depression and then the peer pressure that they're having and the young people, it's pushing them now to start thinking of other things, and that they're starting banning schools.
Right. Melinda, Baridi raises a very important point. Do you feel as if teachers and students have a very healthy relationship? Like, they can personally open up to their teachers and tell them, this is what is happening at home. This is why I don't understand why I'm feeling biology, or these are my frustrations. Do you think that students are comfortable having a open relationship with teachers?
Well, if a student is comfortable with a teacher in a school, let's just say that is like 0.95% possibility, because some teachers are not even friendly with you when you just come to school. Or no teachers have favorites. As much as they are neglecting the fact that they have they have favorites in school, they do have favorites in school. Like now you see teachers are being paid to give exams to students and all that. But now you see, how can I just sit down? You know, if you tell me, Melinda, you're undergoing a depression, then just go and talk to Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so. And just look at this time like, no, I cannot go and talk to that teacher. I don't think they have a healthy relationship. Right. Because now teachers, how can you tell a student, I'm giving you 20%, you look for the 80%? You're supposed to be helping me, because that's why I'm in school. You're supposed to be helping me do this. And then now if you, let's say students are being sent out of school because of such and such cases, like banning schools, like drugs, these homosexuality issues. People are being sent home because of these things. And then, you know, there are some specific teachers who are friends of the administration. So they come, they juice up the story. So now people are being sent home, and then they're like, if I come back to this school, I'll do so and so. So when they come back, you know, they usually tell students, we'll send you away for 2 weeks. When you come back, that is when you've drawn your plan well. You know the school well, so you know where to hit, where to not hit, where to hit the administration so hard. And yeah, they ban schools.
And that's parent and that's a student and teacher relationship.
Yes.
The role that parents play, because also some parents, what we tend to do is that they drop off their kids and then see them after 4 months. So when they come home over that 1 month break, parents are working. They don't have time to sit down and reconnect with their children. Do you think also parents play a big role in this?
Yes, they do play a big role. But I think if you send a child to a boarding school, I think to some parents the notion is you're going to learn through boarding school. That's why they send you to a boarding school. And then, you know, if you're a parent too, you pet your child so much. Oh, my dear baby, this and that. Then, you know, you'll take her to a day school, so that take him or her to a day school, because now you'll be seeing her every evening, when he comes back in the morning, we tell him bye, you drop him off to school. But now those who take their children to boarding schools, they expect them to learn something from the boarding schools. When they're in school, they expect to learn how life is hard. You know,
right.
In a generation where we are people who tend to go astray a little. So like boarding is streamlining you. But now, what is being done in the boarding schools to streamline you? Sometimes it is overexpressed, and then now, you know, people now do other things, venture in other things.
Baridi, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the role that parents are playing in this, be it positive or negative. They are a big stakeholder of schools and their students and the kids' lives.
Negative, Neil. You know, parents have a role to play, but they are not playing their role, mostly for the students. Reasons why they want to treat the students how their parents treated them. So their parents, some of them are grandmothers and were like, go to school, come back, do this, I go. And then right now, they don't have time. These students, when they come home, they have problems. Some, like she's saying, some are practicing gayism in school. A student wants to enroll you to be a gay in school or to do something that is not on your right. You don't have somebody to talk to. You want to come home and sit down and start discussion with your parent. You don't have that free connection with the parent. You only see them when they are driving at the evening, they hoot, you go open the gate, tell you go to your room, they are busy. So they don't have like, we can discuss these issues, we can talk about these issues. What problem are you going through school? Have you school? It's just, I need your report. After seeing your report, go back. This one we'll discuss in the evening, in the morning. So in that time from morning to evening, you don't know what this parent will talk about. So these students, they have a lot which is called emotional wounds in their heart, but they don't have somebody. That's why it reaches a time where they can't take it anymore. So it's high time the parents need also to seek for the counseling, to know how they can guide their kids, know how they can talk to their kids on how their kids can also, if they feel that they can't talk about this, how can you bring another friend that your kid is friendly with? Because you find some parents, their friends are friendly with their kids that more than them. So it's high time that parents need to come down and start thinking that enough is enough, because they don't understand. This is another generation. Only thing they always ask, kwani hii generation yao ni nini na yetu? But this is another new generation. These people are in all YouTube. These people does not watch news. They watch new things. They watch how parents talk to their kids in United States of America. They watch how parents encourage their kids, you know, do football. You know, you can be a musician. Yeah, I love you can do talent. But then they want you to get an A and be a doctor. I'm a doctor. You need to be a doctor.
So there's that lack of proper communication.
There's lack of proper, and then they are like commander-in-chief.
You know, one of the things that has really sparked debate over this school in Fanos is the issue of whether boarding schools in Kenya should just be disbanded. What are your thoughts, Baridi? Do we need to get rid of boarding schools?
No. You know, boarding school should be there, but boarding school should be guided. They need to think of how are they going to have these boarding schools. They need to think of how can they have sessions that can entertain these people to be in school. You cannot remove a structure because of problem. You'll still get another problem. They'll start banning day schools because day schools will be getting to school around 5 in the morning, leave around 5 in the evening. At what time will a student reach at home? Parent will know. We'll have even start having early pregnancies and everything. Boarding school must be there. But how will you, if there's a problem, create something that can make this problem not to be there. So they start thinking of how activities can we bring in school. If these kids are reading from 8 to evening and go to preps, how can we take like 3 or 4 hours to do the activities that they love? That they can run and do all sporting that they want so that they can, if you are at home, you feel like, I think even when I was in study, sometimes that you feel like I want to go back to high school. I want to go to school. I'm meboeka kuka home. I need to go to school. Like, I'm missing my friends. I'm missing funkies.
Those are for people who really loved boarding schools. Like the boarding schools, they enjoyed that time.
Boarding schools is only, you only enjoy boarding school when you get a friend. I was in a school where I didn't love it. But when I came back to Nairobi, I got a school where I loved it. Because you find that there's a boarding school where you are friendly with teachers. An environment works for you. So it's only to make that environment work for them.
Melinda, do you feel as if, like, for your friends and at school, do people like boarding school?
People love boarding school just because of friends who are there and people around them. And then you also love boarding school because of some teachers. They make your school life fun, interesting. You know, some teachers come into class, then they teach you something. And then the method they use is something new that you've never seen. It's so interesting until you are very interested. And then you like school. You know, people go to boarding schools to make memories with friends. No, when you sit down, tell your child a story, you're like, come and tell your story before you go to sleep. Then you read to them your life story, how fun it was, how interesting it was. And then also the studies. You used to say, I used to have this teacher.
So you don't think boarding schools should be scrapped?
No.
It's not the answer?
No, because now if you know, outside there, a boarding school, it's like, it's a, how do I say, it's a
second
group. It's a group that is teaching you life after high school, life after studies. No, studies doesn't end. But now you want to stay with your parents always. There's no way you'll stay with your parents always. It's also a time where you'll get married. It's also a time where people choose celibacy. You go and live alone. No, education now continues from there.
All right.
Yeah.
Bariti?
Boarding school is a community. It's not like day school. You know, waking up in the morning, it's training you to be, in the morning you can go to job. Coming back to your dorm in the evening, you have from job to work to home. Having friends, it's helping you to live in a society with people. That's why you cannot fight with somebody outside after getting out of boarding school. If you take people to day school, everybody, most of them will be like Gumbaru, that you just want to get a certificate. Going to high school, sometimes you not only get certificate, but also some people that have made it, they didn't perform and got A. Some of them got a D, but the discipline that they got in boarding school is what has pushed them to be where they are right now. Because it's giving you share ideas. You feel that things, you know, in day school, you only have class during the day, preps during the day, then break, then in the evening, you go back home, meet your parents. But boarding school, all Saturday, you have just friends. At night, before you sleep, you want to jump into each and every bed, talking to people.
Right.
Yes, and knocking all doors.
So then disbanding schools is not the answer to it. Then what's the answer, Baridi? Because every second term, every year during second term, it seems to be a very sensitive time within schools. Like Melinda has said, exam anxiety is one of the biggest causes. So what can be the solution? Because be it, say, Samina Mohammed, who is on the docket, or Fred Matiang'i, who is on the docket, or whoever it is, school fires seem to be in and out every year. We need a permanent solution. First,
I want to say that the government must go back to those schools and look at the life skills lessons. Are not there.
Life skill lessons.
The life skill lessons, you find that they're teaching maths. That's the teacher of chemistry want to teach at that particular time. So this student does not know how can I live. It's about work. The other thing that Belinda said, I'm giving you 20%, 80% to go look for yourself. You are reading every book but a teacher comes that, I will give you 20% and walk away. So it's high time that let's not blame the students. Let's look at the way, how can we create even a center in a school of how can we accommodate these students to make sure that it's not about education only, but what next can we do? It's a problem that we need to sit down. Teachers and the government need to sit down and look at where is the problem. There's a problem that, if you notice, is a big problem that it's coming from teachers and the students and the parent. So let's put these people together and have a, like we always say that we need a youth-friendly centers. We need a youth-friendly school where a parent is not, where a teacher is not commander-in-chief.
But your friend and teacher.
But it's a friend, a teacher.
Melinda, what do you think the solution should be? Like, if you sit amongst your friends and you're discussing this issue, what are some of the solutions you guys brainstorm amongst yourselves?
Now, as Baridi has said, we also need life skill lessons. Teachers just come to class, then you hear a teacher during in our school in Valley Road, we call it a pastoral lesson, where a teacher comes and gives you stories of life. You sit down, then asks you how you feel and all that. Even people who are sent home, when they come back, people are sent home for many reasons. So when they come back, we need a school has to have a school counselor. It has to have a school counselor. Well, a school counselor now reasons, never takes sides. Now reasons, because the teacher was saying you're doing this, but you're saying you're doing this. Then now, when this counselor talks to you, he or she opens up your mind. They have a very nice way of talking to you. So when you open up, that is when they understand what the problem is. Also, another issue, the government should have just let CS Matiang'i to stay in his education, because now he already started his work. He was streamlining people. Last year, no cases for cheating in exams and all that. People didn't, even third term, people used to leave school to go and look for leakage. Even that's why people are banning schools now, to go and to leave school, then now go look for leakage. Unasikia imetoka, imetoka.
So despite that, Matiang'i was probably a bit tough. That's the toughness that you think that we needed in Kenya in our education.
Yeah, that's the toughness we seriously needed in education. If we streamline now the education sector, the way he was streamlining it, the teacher, now he was bringing up the 2663 system, where now we embrace people for who they are. Kama masomo hajabarikiwa ni hivyo. Kama ni football anaona sawa. Basketball mpatie, because now people are being given scholarships just because of their talent. People are being given scholarships in the UK, Canada, USA mainly basketball, because
I like how confident you are, Melinda, that you think Matiang'i did a fantastic job, and that is coming from us, from Form 4 student. To close off this conversation, Baridi, your thoughts on the aspect where a lot of these students, some of them could face crime for burning down schools. The DSAI was saying that if you are found as a student burning a school, that it will be considered as a crime. So at a young age, at 17, you already have a crime account on your name. That is going to really weigh you down in life. But what were your thoughts when you had that?
It is to show other students like it's bad. But before you charge these people, can you just have them somewhere and ask them why this thing was happening? The solution that you get from these people will help you. And as I support also what Matiang'i was doing, with the way she's saying, Dr. Matiang'i was good, not only for teachers and also for students. So it was in both. That's why you can see Dr. Matiang'i could go to any school anytime and say, why these people are sleeping here? Why this dorm is like this? And those are the things that they are banning school. You are sleeping in a small bed with a small mattress. The dorm is like you can't sleep. When it's raining, it's getting to you. You talk about it every time. I've seen news, you saw it when some student from Machakos came running, say that they have talked about reforms in school each and every time, and that thing is happening and they're paying school fees. So those are the things that they discuss with school and no one wants to understand. These are the things these are the small things. And that's why you feel like that when Matiang'i was there, they start banning school and then they stopped. And then everybody started embracing it. And even the one that did the examination cases and didn't pass well, Matiang'i told them that we are going to work on this, the grade, and we look at university colleges that you can go to. So it was like our problem, not your problem. So when you put it your problem, you are making problems to be more than what we think.
All right. Melinda, I'll let you have the closing remark as we're closing off. What probably would be your message to parents, teachers, and fellow students, especially Form 4 students, as you guys wait to sit for your final exams?
To parents, just ask that you continue encouraging young children. We are youth, we are young people. We emulate from you people. So now when we sit down, we are living this life. You know, you are people who are training us for better life. So now we're urging parents, continue encouraging children. If you think it's best to take your child to a boarding school, well and good. If you think it's well to take your child to a day school, that's also good. And to teachers, we are students, we are human beings just like children. We are emulating from you. You are teaching us things, and we are learning from you. So just let the things that you give us in our lives today, let it be something that when we go out there, we'll say, I used to have a teacher who told me this and told me that. And that's how he or she made me what I am today.
Thank you, Melinda. That's a fantastic note to end it on. Thank you guys so much for coming this morning. Young people discussing the issue. You get to hear straight from their horse's mouth on this issue of school infernos. Melinda Kiro, she's a Form 4 student, and MC Baridi, a youth ambassador. We're taking a quick commercial break. When we come back, it is that sensitive topic that we should be having as a society, colorism. We'll be right back.